I've been growing my own strain using Stash nutrients, and I want to show you what I'm seeing so far. This is Chillauto GF4 generation, and it's pretty close to harvest actually. We're on day 50 of flowering. The harvest window for this is between 56 and 62 days. However, there have been a lot of people reporting, and actually including myself, I've had a few plants that finished earlier than that. Day 50, day 55. So I'm keeping a close eye on that avenue, looking at the trichomes each day to see, is this ready to harvest or not? Let's start off with the nutrition. I want to get deep into that first. For those that have been tuning into this series already, you know that this is reused soil. I've been using this soil over and over again for 8 runs now. It's been working out fantastic. What I did for an initial amending was Stash Base. These are 10-gallon containers. I used 1.25 cups in each container, worked it into the soil, and then I planted into it. Now, as far as additional nutrition I was given, I would do Stash Blend, mix it in 1/2 teaspoon per gallon of water every other week. And I would really just do 1 gallon split between 2 different plants. So that's every other week, really not a full dose of Stash Blend. And then after the veg stage, what I did was right before flipping to flower, I top dressed with Stash Bloom. Now Stash Bloom is formulated for the flower phase. I did a top dressing right before flipping to flower. 1.25 cups of that. I did the top dressing not just with the amendment there, but I also did worm castings. I like to mix in worm castings with fertilizer when I can, when I remember to do it, and mix that all in. And then I like adding a layer of soil on top to help with the moisture retention. And I also have a mulch layer in there as well. I've got some straw on top. That's another thing that's gonna help with moisture retention. Making sure that layer of fertilizer that I put in there and mix it in well with the soil, and then put the soil on top of it. Making sure that that layer is moist. It needs to be moist for proper breakdown, for those microbes to go in there and break down those nutrients and turn them into elements that the plant can then uptake. So I did top dressing before flipping flower, and then I did another top dressing around day 30 of flower. I'm not gonna need to do any more top dressings. If I had a cultivar that was 10, 11 or beyond, I would do another top dressing around day 60. So didn't have to do that this time around, and these plants are looking fantastic where they're at with just 2 top dressings of bloom throughout the whole flower phase. So that's one thing I really like about this nutrient lineup, is that it's so easy to feed. At that initial amending, top dressing before putting flower, another top dressing on day 30, and that's it. Just Stash Blend every other week. And Stash Blend is really optional. You don't have to do it, but I like to do it since it adds so much more of those beneficials that help with the breakdown, as well as some additional nutrition as well. In regards to lighting, using the Evo 3 by AC Infinity, got 2 of them in here to fill up this grow space. Now, one thing I am seeing here that I haven't seen in past runs, I'm seeing a little bit smaller of buds, and I think this is due to the lighting. This is the first time I'm actually running the lighting at 60%, dimmed down quite a bit. Usually I'm dimming it down to 80%, sometimes 70%. This time I tried to do 60%. What I wanted to do is get the light as close as possible and get 900 ppfd at the top. And then really, I guess I didn't really worry about what's going on below that. If I had increased the amount of percentage on the dimmer to 70%, 80%, I think that's what a lot of people are running these days. I don't know if there's anybody out there that's running this at 100%. It's just, there's too much light that happens. You can often get light stress, especially without CO2. So for me, not running CO2, I dimmed it down, and it took a little bit of a risk. I wanted to run it at 60% to see how things would develop, and I'm seeing a little bit smaller bud structure. That's okay. All 4 of these plants are Chillauto G. This is gonna provide me enough supply for myself. I only grow for myself. I'm not growing for dispensaries. I do have friends or family that come into town every now and then. I gift to them, which is legal in my state, but I don't need massive buds. I don't need Coke-sized can buds by any means. But I wanted to point that out. That's one thing I am seeing is a little bit less bud size this time around. I'm still seeing some real excellent density coming out of it. Super frosty buds all over. It's just the size of them a little bit smaller than previous runs. Let's talk about environment next. Temperature, been between 78 and 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty typical to what I've been running in past grows. Really been trying to reduce the amount of temperature here in the final weeks of flower. And that's a tip that a lot of people do these days, is try to conserve terpenes. Now, the higher the temperature, the more terpenes are volatilizing, and you open up your grow tent, you get a huge whiff of smell. Is that a good thing? Well, I guess you can kind of know what you're getting for a profile, but those terpenes are coming off the plant at that point because it's too high of temperature. So reducing the temperature in the final weeks is a key thing that a lot of people do these days. So I've been really aiming for about 78 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's been creeping up a little bit higher than that. VPD has been pretty dialed in. It's so easy to dial in with this equipment. AC Infinity, the whole tent here is AC Infinity, and big shout out to them. They're sponsoring this video. They hook up my viewers with a discount code. You can use code MrGrowIt15. That works on both their website as well as Amazon, so you can use that for a percentage off. It's so easy to dial things in with their controller. I have to run a humidifier, which doesn't really kick on much here in flowering. With the plants being so big and transpiration happening, moisture is being released from the plant. This doesn't kick on much at all, but I still have it in there just in case. But VPD has been pretty dialed in. I have it at 1.4 kPa, and it's been dialed in on that. It will exhaust when the VPD is too low. When it's low, like below 1.4, 1.3, 1.2, whatever, that means there's a lot of moisture in the air. So the exhaust fan will kick on. It will start to get rid of all that high humid air, and the air coming in passively from the bottom of my tent, that is actually it's a low RH. It's about 35% RH is what's coming in here. So it's actually working out a pretty good balance there, and I'm able to dial things in and be real stable at that 1.4, 1.5 kPa. Now in regards to humidity, that is something that obviously relates real closely to VPD, but I want to keep it under 60% here late in the flowering stage because I've gotten bud rot a handful of times. You guys have seen on my channel pretty recently, not too long ago, I had bud rot and I had to wipe out that plant that was impacted. That sucked. So a little bit more cautious moving forward. So under 60% is just a general guideline that people stick by in order to prevent bud rot from occurring. Of course, proper air circulation is going to be key as well. I've got two oscillating fans in here. One I like to run up top, above the canopy, kind of in the top of the canopy. And I've got one lower on the bottom there, which is going to get under the canopy and into the middle of the canopy. So good air circulation is super key in order to prevent bud rot from occurring. In regards to plant training, didn't have to do a whole lot. You can look, we've seen some real good uniformity. With this F4 generation, there has been great uniformity. I've really just done one topping on each plant. I think it was at the 5th note, if I remember correctly. That's usually when I do a topping. And then from there, hasn't been any sort of training. No low stress training. I didn't have to do any more topping or any sort of super cropping, high stress training techniques. Now, I did do pruning, some lollipopping. I took off the lower growth, and also some defoliation, taking off some leaves, mostly in the middle. I'm more conservative when it comes to defoliation, pulling off those leaves. I like to really focus on the center of the plant and leave the outer edges for the most part. But again, the goal is to have air flow through the plants in order to prevent hot spots, humid spots from occurring, and prevent issues really from occurring down the road. So training, it's been super easy. This strain is super uniform at this stage. For the most part, I think I mentioned in a past video, it's 85 to 90% uniform. Let's talk about watering next. I really want to focus on that because this is the first time I'm using the AC Infinity self-watering trays. I've got one tray for each pot, and there's 10-gallon container on each of the trays. Now, some of you might remember that I did a video in regards to my setup, and I showed that I had the auto pot valves for each tray. Now, this time around, I didn't actually use any of those valves. I just decided to hand water. No real good reason for why I didn't use those valves. I think really just want to get experience doing the hand watering, just putting a gallon of water at a time in each one of the trays and just letting the wicking happen. There have been some drybacks throughout. Maybe that has impacted the bud size as well, having those drybacks. But for the most part, it's been pretty easy when it comes to watering. You just put water in that bottom tray and it wicks up. Definitely in the future, next run, 100% running those valves. It's gonna be so much easier to have a valve in each one and have everything connected to the same line, to the same reservoir. Then all I have to do is top off that reservoir with water and good to go. I don't have to worry about crawling in, and I've spilled water so many times trying to pour in. All of that will be eliminated with the auto pot valve. So looking forward to using that. But in regards to how these plants have been watered, it's been really easy actually. I've only been top watering when I'm using Stash Blend. Like I mentioned earlier, about a half gallon for each one of these plants. Just top watering in every other week, and that's about it. So what do I expect to happen from here? Well, we're getting towards harvest actually. We're in the last week or two until I harvest. Probably gonna be more so a week from now. I'm starting to see a fade, some senescence happening, which is totally normal. The leaves start to yellow out and die off towards the end of the cycle. So I'm starting to see that, which is really good. A lot of people like to see that for chlorophyll breakdown. They consider it more of a cleaner smoke when that senescence happens, when that fade happens on those those leaves. And yeah, seeing real dense buds, frosty, like I mentioned before, this looks fantastic. So really happy with how this run has turned out. In the future, I'm not sure how the harvest video is gonna be for this one, if I'm gonna do a harvest, dry and cure, or what. I know for this, I'm actually gonna be putting these in dry boxes, and I wanna work on the comparison video for the dry boxes that a lot of people have been asking for. Just every day somebody asks for a comparison video of these different dry boxes, and now I have one strain. Sure, there's 4 different phenos of this strain, but I can use this to put in different dry boxes and actually kind of measure results a little bit better. So looking forward to that. That's what I'm working on. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and also sign up to my email list. That's one spot where I announce releases happening. Don't rely on these social platforms. I've had posts taken down before. I've had my Instagram actually got deleted not too long ago. They do real heavy suppression happening. So sign up to my email list. I'll definitely have that down the top of the description section below so you can easily get to it. Just click on it, add in your email, and click submit, and then you should be good to go. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this time around, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.